keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the live stream. This is going to be a lot of fun. If you have questions, if you have things that you want to talk about, go ahead and start putting those in the chat right now, because we're going to be going over all of it. And there is so much news that going on with this 49ers team. This is, in fact, our news episode coupled with questions from all of the listeners, the TCC themselves.
And we already got one. We already got a question. Is Ward and K1 off COVID yet from Tyler Ledbetter? As of what we know right now, no, they are not off of the COOV list.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be Friday or Saturday. The fact that the timing worked out for Mitch Wishnowsky is at least making me optimistic that this is something that could happen. The 49ers haven't went panic-wise and signed a bunch of defensive backs to their practice squad.
True.
They did sign Darquez Denard to make sure that they were okay, but I think that is a good sign that the 49ers believe they're going to have their guys coming back in time. And then also, D'Amico Ryans talked about the fact that these guys are having meetings. They all understand the scheme. There's not going to be any mental errors when it comes to the game, which means they believe they're going to be back.
It's true, and it is Ant Warner today, folks. Ant Warner, David Campbell, you are correct. Jelly should know the virus answer by tomorrow. That's correct. By tomorrow, you're going to have a better idea who's going to be off the COOV, who's going to be still probably on the COOV. And I imagine Ambry Thomas and Yamala Lenore will be closer to game time. Closer to probably Saturday.
Saturday or Sunday, those two should be activated.
Accurate, Ant. Accurate. Look, there's other things going on, though, in 49ers land that we could talk about and that we should talk about. The big one, obviously, Trey plays against the Rams if Falcons beat Saints. If not, it will be Jimmy. Brad, unfortunately, that won't be the case because they play at the same time.
Yeah, they're both playing at 1:25 p.m. Pacific time.
Yep.
So that means there's no chance that these... And then the NFL does it on purpose. Because you would get a situation where, teams would rest. The 49ers could have rested their players, if the Saints would have got that done. So, the Saints would have lost to the Falcons. It would have changed everything.
Accurate. And James Vega, thank you for updating right there.
Oh, big time.
And staying a channel member on here on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Look, both rookies may be out for the game. That's very accurate, Jaylee. That could be the case. But look, we got.
Did you read what James said?
No, I missed it. What did he
say?
Said,
what up, TCC faithful? Ooh. Ready for a dub this Sunday? Do we see a run-heavy set this Sunday? And does the defense ramp up the pass rush?
I'm going to say run-heavy, yes, because we've seen that this is what the Niners like to do against this Rams team. It takes away one of their bigger strengths, which is Aaron Donald's pass rush, Von Miller's pass rush, and Jalen Ramsey's impact on the football game. So, yes, run heavy. I expect to see a lot of that. Defense, ramp up the pass rush. I don't know if you ramp up necessarily the pass rush and so much as you're going to just continue to get after it. You're going to try and get home with 4 if you can. But I do expect it to be more blitzes than maybe we've seen in other games. Like last game, it seemed like it was very pick and choose when the blitz came. I think you can expect to see a little bit more blitzing pressure in certain situations.
Yeah, I mean, they used Talanoa Hufanga and K1 Williams to provide the blitzing last time against the Los Angeles Rams. It's all about confusing Stafford and surprising him and getting him a little uncomfortable. So, yeah, I think blitzing will be in the cards, but it's going to be very strategic. Emmanuel Mosley being back is what's going to be pivotal because you don't have to continue to stay in that 2-deep safety look. You can, at times, leave him out on an island in certain situations and still feel that you can have everyone covered on the back end and protected even if you blitz a linebacker and or DB.
Very true. And JLE goes, what James said, LOL.
I like that.
I like it a lot, too. Don't worry, Brad. We were all hoping. It originally was that they flexed the Niners to the Sunday afternoon at 1:25, and we are all hoping that the Saints-Falcons game was going to be...
Every single game on Sunday, that's the afternoon window, is 1:25.
Yep, every single one of them.
Every single one of them.
Single one of them. So we're hoping they were going to keep that Falcons-Saints game early. It was originally scheduled for 10 a.m. I was hoping it was going to stay 10 a.m., man, but nope, they're going to move that East Coast game back. And then Brad said, then it's definitely going to be Jimmy if that's the case. Gary here, Ant, with a very interesting proposal. Jimmy in the first half, that's when he scores the most points. And Trey in the second half, that's when he scores the most points with a nice big smile on his face. man, if you could take the best versions of Jimmy and the best versions of Trey, put them out there and score a bunch of points, I'd be down. I'd be down. But can you guarantee that?
Yeah, I think that, if Jimmy is the starting quarterback and he goes out there and the 49ers are winning this football game, if there is any sort of comfort with them at the end of 3, Trey will go in for the fourth quarter and they'll save Jimmy for the playoffs. If not, I think they're just going to play these guys however they see fit, whatever they feel is needed to win the football game, because there's no reason to hold anything back at this point. You got to let it all roll. You just got to fire every single bullet you have in the chamber and just go get it done.
Accurate, Ant. Tyler Ledbetter here with a great question as well. Why is the only person Brunskill can actually block is Aaron Donald? That's a great question, man. There are some questions in the universe that can't be answered, right? Why does the sun rise in the east and set in the west? Why does the earth spin on the axis that it does? Why does gravity pull you back down? Why doesn't it shoot you out into space? There are tons of incredible answers. Why can't we see the wind blow, Ant? Why can't we know that it's coming? Who knows? But there are constants in this universe, and one of them apparently is Daniel Brunskill owning Aaron Donald. It's been a constant for the first 5 times that we've seen them play during this run with Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know. I'm hoping that the other shoe does not drop, right? And that this is just a universal truth, Ant. We'll find out this Sunday if it's a universal truth or not, but Daniel Brunskill needs to play and show out in a big way.
It's been all about matchups, and one of the things that has been what Daniel Brunskill is really good at is lateral quickness. He's able to move side to side, and that's part of Aaron Donald's game. The 49ers have done a really good job of helping with Alex Mack or Tom Compton or Mike McGlinchey, whoever has been tasked with that, and giving him help, but he's not overpowered by Aaron Donald consistently. He's predicated on speed. The ones that give him problems are the ones that can completely bull rush him and push him back into the quarterback. And so far, Aaron Donald hasn't been able to do that, which means there's some leverage reasons why. Daniel Brunskill gets underneath him and is able to anchor down and stop it. So, I think it's just a matchup thing. Everyone goes through it. Everyone has one matchup that for some reason doesn't make sense. You should be able to win, but you don't. And for some reason, Daniel Brunskill is that to Aaron Donald.
Very accurate, very accurate indeed. Lots of great questions coming through here. And T.O., if Jimmy starts falling off with his thumb, do you see Trey going in?
Yeah, 100%. They're not going to sit around and wait for Jimmy to get right. They have to win the football game, which means Kyle Shanahan's going to have a quick hook on whoever that is. He's going to make sure that he wins the football game. He's going to do whatever's necessary to do that, because you don't care about feelings. That's one of the things you find out real quick when you get into the playoffs or into playoff time. Is feelings don't matter. It's about putting the team first. It's about doing what's right for the team, and that's what you have to do in that situation. So he's not going to care what Jimmy thinks. He's going to put the 49ers in the best situation to win, and at any point in that game, he feels it's not Jimmy Garoppolo that gives them the best opportunity, he's going to turn to Trey Lance.
Accurate. He's 100% going to. I think I wouldn't say it's a short leash for Jimmy Garoppolo, but there will be a leash. And it's not because Jimmy's not capable. It's specifically because of Jimmy's health and what is at stake. There's a lot at stake here in this football game for this team. There's a lot at stake on this season, and you cannot put your faith in the Falcons to take care of business for you. You have to take care of business yourself. You have to go out and get this big win this week. Those things are important. And look, if the Niners do win, you only have a 1 in 4 chance if the Niners win of it being the Rams that you end up playing again. So you can't worry about having to play them right away yet again for a 4th time. You win the football game, you take care of your own destiny. You have a 25% chance of playing either the Rams, the Cardinals, the Cowboys, or the Bucs. You're going to face one of those 4 teams depending on how it plays out. So don't worry about who you got next. Worry about the opponent you have in front of you. That's all you could do. KNDR said, what do you guys think of next season's opponents? We'll get to that, KNDR. I just pulled it up, so we'll get to that here in a little bit. Tyler Ledbetter, why is a boxing ring square? Is another universal question that we may never know the answers to.
So you could have corners. If you don't have corners, it's a little bit different.
I don't know, Ant. Do you need corners?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Where would you sit if you didn't have a corner? Go to the corner I tell you to.
On a rounded edge. On a rounded edge.
Yeah, that's called sumo wrestling. That's different.
It's very accurate, and this is different. Ivan said, guys, since week 1, I bet $300 the Niners are going to have a better record than the Raiders. In 200, the 49ers make the playoffs. I love this team. Please, I hope I'm right. Do you think I win these bets? I don't know if you're going to win the first one. You have a chance to. I don't know if you win the first one without the Raiders. Because if they get easily beat the Chargers. And if they do, they're going to finish at worst with the same record as the Niners. That's a push. So I don't think you win that bet there. So there's a chance on that one.
I think the Chargers are going to win.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I hope for their sake they do. They've had one heck of a season.
Yeah.
It's been up and down.
I think the Raiders have been kind of all over the place. I think the Chargers have a better quarterback.
The only problem I have is you know how storylines are, Ant. with the NFL and how important they are. John Madden's passing.
Yeah, but the one thing the NFL doesn't want is the John Gruden thing to linger.
That's also
you want
true.
that thing to die and go away. And what do they also love? Young quarterbacks that they can build as the next great superstar.
Justin Herbert.
And that is Justin Herbert.
You are correct. And also, if they just miss out, it opens the door for Jim Harbaugh to come in and be the savior for Raiders football.
Yeah, it does.
In Vegas.
Yeah, it does.
God, I don't want that.
I know.
I don't want that at all. Oh boy, Brad, I am getting nervous thinking about the Rams beating us. Just this horrible feeling I have. What say you, boys?
I have this definitely a little birdie in the back of my mind that is, putting that out there that the Rams could potentially win this game. And I think that's a lot of because we respect the Rams and their football team. They are a good football team. They have a good coach. I think the only thing that I got into this is what I've learned all through the years is that styles make fights. And the 49ers style and the way that they play matches up very nice with the Rams defense.
It does.
So as long as the 49ers execute, I believe they have the potential and opportunity to win this game. But yes, I will be on edge the entire time because it's playoff time. The nerves are going to be up. But I think the 49ers can win. But definitely the Rams are going to push the envelope and make this thing really close.
They always are. I mean, These games are very rarely a blowout. The last one was, but it won't always be the case. So yeah, I'm expecting a knockdown, drag-out battle, as is George Kittle, and who basically said the same thing, right? He basically, what did he say?
It's a body bag kind of game. Get him a body bag.
Get him a body bag. Look, George Kittle saying it's a body bag game. If I'm a Rams player, I'm like, no, no, it's not. We don't have to do this. We both have potentially playoffs. Why would we want body bags?
That's the mentality from the 49ers. You're going to go out and impose will, and you're going to take everyone out along the way. That's a good mindset for the 49ers, and that's a good mindset for George Kittle to have.
Accurate, and it's very, very accurate. Rams are not sitting starters from David Campbell, at least until the game is decided. That is correct. And I know Shooter had asked if Rams sit starters, did the Niners sit Jimmy to give him one more week to get healthy? You could do that, but you still need a win.
Well, there's too much on the line now for the Rams, so the Rams aren't going to do that.
No, NFC West is on the line. The NFC West is number one on the line, and then number two, home playoff game is on the line.
Okay. Yeah, they don't want to fall all the way to 5 and end up, traveling in week 1, possibly to Dallas.
It'll either be Dallas or Tampa.
Yeah,
it's one of the two. So, unless they're convinced that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to completely fall off and they'd rather play them in the first round, that would be the only reason that they would make that move. KNDR, why does Nate Sudfeld give us the best chance to win? Caleb, you are something, man.
Win what?
I guess just win and all. I think he just wants us to acknowledge him.
Oh.
Did I get no acknowledgement? Okay. So that's where we're at this week. that's where we're at.
You get nothing from me.
There you go, Caleb. Nothing from Ant. If we win from Brad Jones, I reckon we are facing the Cowboys, is what he says. It could be the case. 25% chance. If the Niners win, there is 4 options, and each one is different, and each one involves a different team that's not the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, if you watch the playoff scenarios video, it actually the most likely situation is that we play the Arizona Cardinals. Sure. If the Cowboys beat the Eagles on Saturday night, and then the Cardinals beat the Seahawks, 49ers beating the Rams would, in fact, make the 49ers travel to Arizona in the Week 1 wildcard game against the Arizona Cardinals.
It's very accurate. And JLE wants to know, too, your thoughts on early transfer/recruits for the Noles. Looking solid.
It is looking solid. I haven't delved in too much into it yet. I've seen a little bit come across the board. But yeah, overall, it looks like there is a push now for players and big-time players to start going to Florida State. That is a good time, a good story because they haven't had the talent over the last few years that they had in years past. And it looks like that is starting to go their way, which means they got a head coach that's doing a bang-up job in recruiting, and that's what we needed. So yeah, I'm optimistic, and I'm looking forward to getting into it and really breaking down these recruits a little bit more, not just what people say, but also what they look like on film.
Absolutely, that would be good for your Noles, Ant, and yeah, I'm looking forward to. We're getting closer and closer to draft prep season, so that's coming up.
That is true.
We're getting close to it. Look, we do have some updates, and we need to talk about the stuff that happened in practice, and then we'll get to Caleb's question about 2022 schedule and rosters and things of that nature. So first and foremost, Jimmy Garoppolo for a second consecutive day, Ant was limited in practice and apparently was slinging the ball around pretty well. We watched some of the videos that popped up and came up. He looks like he's throwing pretty well. What are you feeling here? You feeling like Jimmy Garoppolo's playing this Sunday?
Yeah, I do. I think that him playing on Wednesday and Thursday, as long as there's not some sort of a setback, the comments that are coming out of 49ers camp, especially what Deebo Samuel said, that he looks like the old Jimmy. Jimmy's whipping the ball around. He doesn't look like the thumb is bothering him at all. Elijah Mitchell calling him a beast, calling him a stud, basically saying he's battling through it, and I think he's encouraging Elijah Mitchell to do the same thing. Elijah Mitchell's been dealing with the knee. I think that Jimmy Garoppolo is trending towards playing and starting in the game on Sunday. I believe the 49ers coaching staff and players believe he still gives them the best chance of winning. I believe Trey Lance understood this. That's why he said if Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy, he'll be the starting quarterback for this team. I think this has been the understanding, and everyone knows that Jimmy Garoppolo is the guy right now. Trey's going to be the guy in the future, and they're continuing with that. But we don't know at what percentage Jimmy Garoppolo is playing. And the whole thing is about how that ball's going to spin out of his hand, but so far it looks pretty good.
It does. It does look pretty good so far. So we'll see what happens in that regard, in that scenario. Steven's saying he thinks that we should bring in a scrambling quarterback to mentor Lance. I disagree with that for one reason and one reason only. Kyle Shanahan doesn't want a scrambling quarterback. It's not what his offense is predicated on. You want a guy who can extend plays with his feet. Patrick Mahomes isn't a scrambling quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is a guy who can scramble and can extend plays. What you want is someone who understands the offense, who can teach Trey Lance, and that's what you've had in Jimmy Garoppolo. You've had a very good mentor here for year one for Trey Lance. Trey Lance is supposed to be the guy in year two, and there are options out there for quarterbacks you could bring in year two if you don't think Trey is ready. Aaron Rodgers being one of those names that is floating about out there in the ether. But I don't think you have to do any of those things. If Trey is ready to go in year two, there is no more mentoring. There's no more waiting. There's no more anything. It's Trey Lance's time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who they bring in as the backup quarterback next year. Once Jimmy Garoppolo is probably moving on, will they go out and get a veteran player like Andy Dalton? Will they go out and get somebody else? Who's the quarterback that was with the Bears that is now with the Bills, the backup?
Trubisky.
Trubisky is another guy that would make sense for the 49ers as a backup quarterback. But I do believe also Nate the Great Sudfeld is somebody that could probably stay in San Francisco. He looks to be a very good mentor. You see him consistently talking to Jimmy Garoppolo, consistently talking to Trey Lance, going over things on the surface. I think that he's helping them with coverages. He understands this offense. He's a guy that's worked with Scangarello before. So to me, he makes sense being in this room. I don't know if he'll be the backup quarterback or the third string guy. But yeah, it's not. I don't think it's going to be a scrambling quarterback because I don't believe they want Trey Lance to be a scrambling quarterback. They want him to be somebody that extends plays, that can get outside the pocket, that can occasionally, when needed, create with his legs. But I don't think they want that to be the overall plan for him.
I agree with you. There 100%. Brad had mentioned earlier we should draft the Utah kick returner. Are you talking about Britain Covey? That's right. I know who that is. Who Britain Covey is. We'll see. He's very electric as a kick returner. I haven't watched enough of him as a wideout, though, to know if that's worth it. And we've talked about it, and we're going to continue saying it. You don't just bring people onto the roster with this team the way it's constructed to fulfill one role.
No, I mean, it all depends on what Kyle Shanahan feels he could do with him in the offense. If he feels he's somebody that he can turn into something dynamic, like a Tyreek Hill type of situation,
then yes,
you're going to bring him in.
Also depends on where in the draft.
And yeah, positionless players are a real thing. So if Kyle believes he can use his speed and skill set, we know Kyle Shanahan does have an affinity for speed guys on the outside, guys that can stretch the field. He tried with Marquise Goodwin. He's tried with Travis Benjamin. This is something that he likes to do. He likes to bring in these guys. But we'll see, especially when we get into start to feel like really breaking down the college game and breaking down these players. There will be guys that I'm sure we're going to fall in love with.
T.O., I figured you were joking about Baker Mayfield.
Oh, gosh.
I figured you were. That's a good one. It is a good one. JLE asked a little bit earlier, Ant, too, Bulldogs or Tide?
Oh, I think it's I know that the SEC title game went completely one way with Alabama.
Sure.
I think Georgia's defense is really good. I just don't know if they can stop this Alabama offense. Now, Cincinnati did a pretty good job of slowing down Alabama, but I'm going to go ahead and take Alabama in a very close game in this one. I just don't trust the quarterback for Georgia, where I definitely do trust Bryce and Alabama. I think Alabama just does just enough to win. It's Nick Saban. He still is not getting beat by a guy that used to coach with him. So Kirby Smart, you're a good coach, but you still have not yet beat the mentor.
Nor do I think that'll happen either. I have to go. I have to go with the Tide, not because I want the Tide to roll, but just specifically because I don't see it going any other way. I don't see how based on what we've seen from Bama, what they've been able to do, the way they've now done it, completely going to a run-heavy scheme against Cincinnati and just controlling the game. I know Cincinnati did a really good job of just kind of slowing down the high-poweredness and making Bryce Love not be as effective as we've seen him be. Nick Saban's he's built for this, man. He is truly just built for this, and he owns all his assistant coaches like you brought up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably roll tide scenario there. Brad Jones had asked earlier, I think he just asked this now. Let me see here. Sign OBJ as a free agent so you can keep Debo as a kick returner and keep Ayuk as the punt returner? Heck no.
I think they're going to flirt with OBJ.
You think so?
I think the 49ers are going to flirt with a few wide receivers. I think they plan on bringing in somebody.
OBJ or Devontae Adams?
Well, the thing is how much can you afford? OBJ is not going to get the kind of money that Devontae Adams is going to get. And Devontae Adams is going to be wherever Aaron Rodgers is.
True.
If Aaron Rodgers was to land in San Francisco, because I do believe he wants to be on the West Coast, so San Francisco, Las Vegas, I think are the two most obvious choices.
Don't say that.
And if he ends up in one of those places, I think that's where Devontae Adams goes. Devontae Adams, a Bay Area kid, he would love to play here, but he'd love to play with Aaron as well. So I think that's there. And I think OBJ will be involved in the 49ers talk. I believe that if OBJ felt the 49ers were more of a playoff contender this year, he actually would have chose San Francisco over Los Angeles. But they weren't. And that's what John Lynch said at the time is like, hey, we don't deserve to be considered into this.
Accurate. That is true. They did say that. I think they would have tried if they were a little bit more of a series contender at that time.
Yeah.
Ronnie Montoya, does Dre Greenlaw get the start? 100%. If he's healthy, he's playing. He'll be out there rolling right next to Fred.
Yeah. Did you see Rick Dowdy said, what healthy corners do we have?
I saw that earlier. So right now you have Josh Norman, you have Emmanuel Mosley, and you have Jaquez Denard. Those are the three guys that are healthy, I guess, is the way to put this. But you have all the rest of those guys just on the COOV protocol, dealing with the COOV, and we'll see what happens with all of them. I think all of them have a very good chance of making it, and I honestly believe if the Niners were worried, like really, truly worried that one of them wasn't going to make it or a couple of them weren't going to make it, you would have seen some more cornerback signings, including who was it? Savion Smith just got released, just got waived by the Lions. So if the Niners were truly that concerned, it already would have been picked up.
Yeah, they would have went out and got some guys off practice squads, done whatever they had to do. They're feeling confident that they're going to get these guys back.
Accurate, and I agree with you on that. T.O. says sign T.O.
In 2011, I 100% wanted to sign Terrell Owens.
It's true.
It is one of the biggest frustrations I have with Trent Baalke and that team is we had a real need at the wide receiver position. Randy Moss and Terrell Owens both said they wanted to play for the 49ers. Instead, we got Brett Swain. And Brett Swain is absolutely garbage. And he did nothing for the San Francisco 49ers football team. Randy Moss or Terrell Owens, in my case, I would have signed both of them. They would have fundamentally changed that team. We ended up signing Randy Moss the next season. But both of those guys would have changed the game. And not only would the 49ers not have had it come down to a Kyle Williams muff punt, they would have won that Super Bowl because they were better than everyone else because complimentary football is a real thing and they were the most complimentary football team in the league. So, yeah, that is one of the big mistakes in the history of football, in my opinion, by Trent Baalke, and I'm glad that he's no longer going to be the GM of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Did they, for real? Is it
they've
official?
notified him now that he's not going to be the GM next year.
Yeah. Thank goodness for Jacksonville. Good for you guys. Really, really good for you guys. Brad said Packers have already said they will franchise tag Adams, and that's fine. They can franchise tag him all they want, but he has to sign that tenure. He has to sign that tag. He has to agree to it, and I don't see him agreeing to that. Yeah, especially if no Aaron Rodgers is there. He
wants to be with Aaron Rodgers. That's the key. And you know what? They could do that. They could definitely hold on to him. It just gets more expensive and expensive and expensive. Eventually, they have to let him go. But you're right. That for next year, that could mean Devontae Adams stays in Green Bay.
Could be.
But 2 years from now, that contract's going to be absolutely huge. That free agent, if he keeps getting a franchise tag. So eventually, he's going to have to let him go, and he's going to want to be wherever Aaron is. So maybe it won't be next year. We'll see how that plays out.
Very well could be the case. JLE saying Russ Wilson to the New York Giants could be the case. I know a little earlier Caleb had mentioned maybe the Browns for him. That could be.
I don't think it's Cleveland because his wife wants to be somewhere where she can.
Big city.
Yeah, she wants to be a big city. So New York makes sense. Atlanta makes sense. That's her hometown. I
still think the Jets scenario makes sense.
Also, Las Vegas would make sense.
It would.
Especially if someone like Jim Harbaugh goes there and he hooks up with Russell Wilson. That would make a lot of sense. Those are locations where he could definitely land. Also, outlier, But something to take into consideration, New Orleans as a possibility and landing spot for Russell Wilson.
That's a good one, Ant.
Yeah.
That is a good one. I hope that doesn't happen, but that is a good one.
Yeah.
T.O. just call AB and get fake negative tests.
AB is officially released.
Did they officially release it?
They released a statement today that said they have, reached a agreement to, basically release him.
Have you seen all the crazy stuff that's coming out now?
Have you seen the text messages?
I saw the text messages.
Yeah.
I see AB claiming they gave him a shot. They coerced him into taking it, essentially. He played hurt. We have Bruce Arians, who's come out now and said that isn't why Antonio Brown left the sideline. He left the sideline because he wasn't getting targeted enough against the Jets. There are now apparently other reports coming out saying that the reason AB agreed wasn't because he was coerced into going, because he knew he was close on his incentives, because he had the 3 incentives all worth like $333K or whatever. So he knew he was close to getting that $1.2 million bonus. And so he basically agreed to take the shot because he thought he could get it done this week against a bad Jets team and then sit out week 18 and get healthy. So there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of different stories being told by everyone. I imagine the truth is somewhere in the middle of all of this, but I'll tell you what, keep being distracted, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It just gives me Bud Kilmer vibes, you don't know anything about team play and dedication, and you got Billy Bob. If you give him that shot, I'll rip off your arms and beat you to death with them. Yeah, that's what it gives me.
My star quarterback right here, dragging his leg, because of you.
Yeah. Hoping you'll be the missing link. Yeah, 100%. That's what it gives me the vibes of.
It's a lot of drama down there in Tampa Bay Buccaneer land, Ant. There's a lot of it going on. And hey, you know what? You guys do you. Why would anyone believe AB dude has zero cred? Less than zero? That is true.
That is true.
He does have less than zero.
I don't think anyone touches him with a 10-foot pole.
Here's the thing, right? If he agreed to take that shot, he agreed to take it, Ant. He made a conscious choice. So to turn around and then pin it on the people who offered up something to you when you also had a lot to gain from it, $1.2 million in incentives. That's a lot of money. Why there's not another NFL team that's going to sign him? There's not one.
Well, just the whole spectacle of how he left the field is enough to make any NFL team run the other way.
True.
No matter what the circumstances are, that's not how an NFL pro handles a situation. In that situation, you know what he should do? Go sit on the bench. Just go sit on the bench. Go take your lumps. If you're not happy with this, then that's when you reach out to your union, and you talk. That's why they're there, and you go ahead and you tell them, what is going on, and you let them fight the battles legally for you. But you do not handle it this way, and that's why he's a problem.
Al Davis would sign him. He's a fast wide receiver.
100%.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. Brad says Chiefs would sign AB.
I don't know.
They might.
I mean, they might because they have such a strong locker room.
Well, they have such a strong locker room, right? And they're having issues outside of Tyreek Hill.
I know another team that would sign him. New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans.
Sean Payton, he don't care. He likes crazy.
He does kind of like crazy.
And so that would put them kind of on edge. And I'm not saying he's like crazy. I'm talking like just wild. You know what I'm talking about?
And AB is wild.
He's wild.
There's one thing we can agree on. AB is wild. Brad, Rappaport was on McAfee's show and explained what happened, kind of. He did, and then McAfee kind of called him out, actually, because Ian Rappaport was kind of a little bit talking out of his behind, a little bit. He was filling in gaps on information that he didn't actually have, and McAfee kind of called him out on it, which I enjoyed. I really do like Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee, no holds barred kind of guy. Also, absolutely fantastic on SmackDown.
He is.
He's just great.
Yeah, the Shinsuke Nakamura dances when he's coming out are some of the best television there is. I don't know if that's real dancing, but it's fantastic to watch.
And I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely take it. Listen, more news, though, for the 49ers. More things going on. DNPs in practice were just Azeez Al-Shaair and Trent Williams, still dealing with the elbow sprain. Limited participants were Jimmy Garoppolo, Dre Greenlaw, Marcel Harris, Talanoa Hufanga, Maurice Hurst, Elijah Mitchell, Jaquiski Tart.
Yeah.
Also, Marcel Harris listed as an Achilles now.
Well, I mean, we'll see. He played last week.
It's true. He did play last week.
Yeah, I'm curious what happens, but I think these guys, we're not going to know really until we see the injury report on Friday. See how many of these guys are questionable. I have a feeling that every single one of them are going to be listed as questionable. 49ers have the opportunity now, to bring all these guys back and go out there and play one game against the Rams for it all and see where you're at. It also, you want to go out there full go. You need to win, but you also need get some gelling going on and prepare these guys for the next week.
Accurate.
It's going to be interesting This is going to be probably the strongest this team has been. As long as we get these DBs back from the COOF list, this will be the strongest that this team has looked, in a long time. So I'm excited for that fact.
Agreed, Anta. That gosh darn COOF list, Ant. That gosh darn COOF list. Now, look, let's get back to what Candiar had asked about, Ant, which was the 2022 schedule. We're not looking too far ahead, but he wants initial reactions and feelings about this schedule. So the Niners have for sure. They're going to be at Atlanta. They're going to be at Arizona. At Arizona and at home against Arizona, obviously. At Carolina, at Denver, at the Raiders, at Rams, at home versus the Rams. Seahawks at home and away, obviously. The New Orleans Saints at home, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home, the Kansas City Chiefs at home, the Los Angeles Chargers at home, and then you still have a game at the NFC North to be determined, and an AFC East game to be determined, and an NFC East game to be determined.
Yeah. There's a lot there.
It's a lot going on there. The butt ton going on. How do you feel about that schedule? The teams that you know, right? Kansas City, the Chargers, Tampa, New Orleans, Denver, the Raiders, Carolina, Atlanta. How do those games feel for you?
Pretty good overall, because I know we're going to have an extra home game next year, as it goes back and forth between each conference. This year we had the extra road game. Next year we're going to have an extra home game. We're playing the AFC West, which could be challenging, but Denver Broncos, fell off at the end of the year. The Chargers have showed that they have some weaknesses. The Los Angeles Raiders are going to have some changes and probably some upheaval during the offseason. We don't know what they're going to look like. Is Derek Carr going to be the quarterback? Are they going to go a veteran quarterback? They're going to go a rookie quarterback. There's going to be a lot of changes there. I'm looking forward to the Kansas City matchup. I want to see how the 49ers, team is going to look against a Kansas City Chiefs team, but ultimately it's too early to tell. You see it and you see some games that are favorable, but we don't know what this roster is going to look like. We don't know who's going to be taking the helm. We think it's going to be Trey Lance, but we don't know that for sure. And until we know what this roster looks like, I'm definitely not looking at any of these games and being like, oh yeah, the 49ers can win that one or this one or that. There's too much that plays into it. There's too much going on. So I think that overall the schedule looks favorable. I did look at it and think that there was 10 winnable football games. And that means that with a few moves, they could possibly win a couple more. So I'm excited about that opportunity because I think there are games that they can win. And finally, New Orleans has to come to San Francisco.
That's always nice, man. Yeah. Getting New Orleans in San Francisco instead of having to be there. No, but there's definitely some winnable games on there, and there's definitely some tests next year. There are some test games on this schedule, whether it's Tampa, whether you think Kansas City, Los Angeles Chargers is also going to be one that's a test. The good news is all of those tests are at home.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is at home, including that New Orleans game. So if the Niners can fix some of the issues in terms of the way they've finished games at home or played games at home, and you got some very favorable matchups at home against some very tough opponents in which the faithful hopefully can get your back and get you over the hump in those situations, in those scenarios. So I like the schedule. I like the way it kind of shakes out. I like the way it kind of breaks out. The real question will just be where those games fall and where the bye week ends up being.
Yeah.
I think the Niners had an early bye this year. It helped because of the injuries and just some of the way the season played out. I would absolutely love next year a little bit later or middle of the season bye week. That would be perfect for the Niners with the schedule.
It will be later in the season because the 49ers are more than likely going to play one of their home games, the extra home game, in Mexico City.
Oh, that's true.
The 49ers are going to do that, and that will probably be when the bye week comes. But hopefully that will be later on in the year. We could be optimistic about a possible, middle of November bye week. That would be great.
And Brad, you are correct. The NFC East game is the Washington football team. The NFC North game is the Bears because we're the third place team, as are they. That's how that kind of shakes out. So yes, you are correct.
Yeah, that's what makes the schedule more favorable. They were two of the teams I saw as wins for the 49ers, as long as the roster doesn't fall apart.
Accurate.
And it will be exciting to see Justin Fields, in year two. How will he look? You'll probably get a Justin Fields versus Trey Lance matchup, so that could be exciting. Or it could be a Chicago Bears and Justin Fields against Aaron Rodgers and his new football team. Old friends.
It'll just be our football team?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
You get it, old friend, Chicago versus the Aaron Rodgers.
He's the owner.
49ers.
Yeah, he's the owner. I forgot.
He owns the Bears. He owns the Bears.
Sure, you are correct.
Yeah.
JLE question: Elijah Mitchell's injury, is he just sore? Is it his knee? Is it just his body in general? It's sounding like it's his knee, from what Kyle's saying. It's just dealing with soreness, tightness, inflammation. Probably is what he's dealing with.
If I had to guess, he's probably going to need to get it scoped and cleaned up in the offseason.
Probably.
He's probably got something going on there, but we'll see. But right now, you can play through it. You can play the rest of the season, and they've deemed that it's not going to create any long-term, damage. So
That's
that
good
would be
news.
my guess.
That's
I mean,
really
it could have
good
been a
news.
knee sprain, but they never actually said. They just said it was soreness.
If it's continually inflaming, and there is a chance there may be some minor damage in and around there. And so, yeah, he may need to get scoped up and cleaned up. Let's just hope it's minor. Let's hope it's a minor sprain. It's not too serious. If he doesn't have to have any offseason surgery at all and he just needs rest, then that's even better news for Elijah Mitchell and the 49ers. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. JLA, why is our home game in Mexico?
The 49ers have now been awarded, I think it's somewhere in England and then also Mexico, as kind of like one of their home bases. The NFL is really trying to expand their game into these other countries, and the 49ers were awarded this. I think they really wanted it because they want to expand their brand. This is always good for the organization itself. The only thing that works out, and the reason I'm not hating on this next year, is number one, Mexico City is not that far away, and second of all, the fact that we have an extra home game, so we're not losing a game from Levi Stadium. 8 games there. Will it be an advantage still? I don't know. It depends on who they put us against in Mexico City as well. I tend to think it's going to be a Southern California team or a Texas team. So that would make me think that right away it's probably going to be the Los Angeles Rams or the Los Angeles Chargers.
One of the two.
Yeah.
One of the two. Yeah, that would make the most sense.
Could also be Arizona.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Candy or Collectibles, what's the body count for the Raiders game?
Oh, God.
My word.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. Not sure. What number does A-Rod wear in San Francisco next year? T.O., I love it. I'm assuming he's just going to get permission to wear 12.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he can get permission to wear 12. I know that Jed York had talked about not retiring numbers for the 49ers anymore, that you're running out of numbers. I'm honoring those players and those numbers.
Put them in the ring of honor.
Putting those numbers back into circulation. We'll see. This could be the first one to fall, right? I don't know. I don't know if that's the case.
For that number falling for Aaron Rodgers, I'm okay with.
Yeah,
I'm totally all right with that.
I think if he showed up, I think there'd be a movement to put him in 12.
80 and 16 though can't ever be touched.
The fact that Aaron Rodgers though has so much respect
he
for
might
the
not,
organization, he might not. But then the question is, what number would he wear?
True. That is the great question. That is the big question. Brad says, I think we only have 2 true East Coast road games next year. Not totally sure on time zones for you guys. What do you guys think is the best time of the year to play the Broncos? Well, I think it depends on the quarterback. If it's Aaron Rodgers, it doesn't matter. Because if it's cold, anything like that, A-Rod's played in cold. He's played in all sorts of different weathers.
Trey Lance as well.
It's all
from
good.
North Dakota
That's
State.
true. He did, but they played inside, though.
Yeah, but still, you practiced in an outside facility.
That's true. He did practice in an outside facility.
And he talked about how he went to school there and he learned to live there and all that and how he had to adjust to the cold. He'll be just fine.
All right.
You know why I'm not worried? Denver don't have a quarterback.
That is true. What if it's Jimmy Garoppolo?
What about it?
What if that's Jimmy? What if it's Jimmy v. Trey?
Then that means D'Amico Ryans is going to be getting all over Jimmy Garoppolo's face. I have this weird feeling that DJ Jones, as long as the 49ers can bring him back, would have a huge game against Jimmy Garoppolo in the middle of the field. He would just put some pressure on up the middle. The Denver Broncos offensive line, not wonderful. And then Fred Warner with the interception. I'm calling it right now if that happens.
I like it.
So thanks for Alex for putting that into the ether.
Hey, that's what I'm here for, Ant. Yeah. That's what I'm here for. Last time we played the Bears in Mexico, we got embarrassed from Shooter. That is accurate. Brad Jones, the rumor has always been Cardinals in Mexico.
That would make sense.
It would.
It would. Yeah, I mean, any one of those teams is going to have some sort of a fan base down there, and they're going to try to build that fan base, so that makes sense.
Very, very accurate. The Cutback crew needs to meet up next year in Las Vegas for the Raiders game. Mark Graves. You want Vegas, baby. Woo!
I don't hate that idea.
It's not a terrible idea, but there is only one issue. Next year, I get married on a Sunday, the 23rd. If that game fell on that weekend, that would not happen.
Yeah, and I mean, we're already planning on doing a show from your wedding.
We are going to do a show from my wedding.
Yeah.
Love you, Megan.
Yeah.
Love you so much. What's up, Pork Bellies from Tommy? What's up, Pork Belly?
Whoa, what is up?
What's up, sir?
Pork Belly's delicious, by the way.
It is good.
Yeah.
Jimmy in Cleveland. I mean, I think Shooter says he's down. Cutback crew, though. I mean, how excited would you be for a wedding edition of the 49ers Cutback?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to like break records, right?
I mean, everyone better show up in full force that day. It's like literally the best day of my life.
Shooter said get married in Vegas.
Oh man.
Hey, did you see what San Francisco said?
I missed it.
I've never known how much I love the two words until I met the hashtag Cutback crew. Run and fits. That's right.
I love run fits.
We do talk about run fits a lot.
I love run fits, and they're my favorite. Vegas or Denver, says Jay Ellie. Hey, I got family who lives out in Colorado, so that would actually, I could make that work.
Yeah.
Could make that work.
I mean, if it's a home game, we're pretty close by, I believe.
We are pretty close by.
Yeah.
We're expanding some things for season 3. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Tommy says, can the 49ers win without Jimmy Ward?
It's going to be tough. I mean, listen, is it doable? Of course it's doable. You can win any given Sunday. We saw Davis Mills, win some football games against a couple of football teams that I just didn't expect. I saw the Pittsburgh Steelers being down almost 30 points on a primetime game against the Vikings and come storming back and almost won it. Anything is possible. You can win on any given weekend. But if you don't have Jimmy Ward in the secondary, it is not going to be easy if you're the 49ers. I mean, that affects your run fits, something that San Francisco loves to hear. Run fits are affected if Jimmy Ward's not on the field. The sky's coverages completely change for the 49ers if he's not on the field. And then manning up, trying to match up man at any point in time becomes extremely difficult without Jimmy Ward out there to cover.
Yeah, it changes the way you're going to be playing defense. Hufanga is going to be back, but at what level? Tavon Wilson's going to be back, but at what level?
Very true. Yeah. That is very true. Megan said that she'd allow it, Ant. So apparently we're allowed to do a video from the wedding. So that's great news. Tommy, I'm getting married to my guitar. Her name is Mary. Can I get a congrats? Congrats.
Congrats on marrying Mary.
Congrats on marrying Mary. The guitar.
Something about Mary. I don't know.
Not sure what it is, Ant. I don't know what it is, but hey, it works for Tommy. That's all I care. Happy for you, man. Happy for you. Play a sweet riff for the cutback tonight. We really appreciate that.
And Jay only said, congrats, Tommy. May it be long and faithful.
It's one guitar for the rest of your life, Tommy. That's it. Just that one. No more. No more. Look, this is the 2022 schedule is interesting, but there is nothing more interesting than this game this weekend and the 49ers and what they got to do against this Rams team. And look, we got tons of stuff. You got the Friday Frenzy tomorrow back in its normal time slot, which is Friday, with all of the content that you love. Madden Sim in the morning, game preview after that, what's good with Jay in the Bay, and then an all-22 film, Know Your Opponent. And then we got a wonderful game plan video Saturday in which we're going to dive into this game even deeper and even further and really just get into the nitty-gritty details of everything that's happening with this football team. And, man, I'll tell you what, this is I'm just happy the Niners are playing meaningful football. Last year, this was miserable, Week 17, end of the season. Niners are out of it. You're just, playing to play at this point, and we're just, trying to skate by, enjoying what this team, the product the team had put on the field, and at that point, there was just not a whole lot because of all the injuries.
Yeah.
I'm just happy, man. I'm happy to see that we have some meaningful football here, and the Niners have a chance to control their own fate and destiny and get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, and Tommy's bringing it up here, that last time the 49ers beat the Lambs, as he says it, they had Mosley and Josh Norman as their cornerback. So they've proven they could do it with that grouping. Those are two guys that are available. We talked about this earlier in the week. Marquez Denard, if we would have heard this early in the season that our three corners were Mosley, Norman, and Denard, no one would bat an eye because that's how the secondary looked at times. So I don't think that this is like something crazy for this defense. However, this defense has been playing really good over the last couple weeks, especially last week where they held the Texans to 7 points.
Very true, Ant. Very true. Tommy Hoxley, how many DBs do you think we get back? I wonder if they have any symptoms. I think the fact that you have a situation where the Niners haven't gone out and signed a bunch of guys probably lets you know that most of them are not dealing with symptoms right now, and that you're probably in a pretty good spot to getting most, if not all of them back.
Yeah, that's what makes it clear. If not, they'd be out there signing a lot of guys to make sure that they were protected just in case. Because you need those guys to come in and learn your system, learn your scheme, and what they have to do. You didn't have to do that, which means you're anticipating them coming back. So this is even less than what they did when they had a feeling that they might lose Mitch Wisnowski.
Matt Burgos, it is not hair gel. All natural. All natural.
He went something about Mary, by the way.
That
is a something about Mary quote. Yes, 100%.
I missed it.
Yeah,
I missed it.
Sorry about that.
It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen it. How many we already saw that one. and Tommy's guitar is a Strat, and it's 26.
Oh, nice.
Nice, Tommy. Nice, Tommy. Good stuff. Good stuff. KNDR, bad. Shame on you. Shame on you, KNDR. No one should wish the coup on anyone. Don't you dare. Don't you dare, KNDR. I refuse to read it. I refuse, Ant. We don't stoop to that level here on the Cutback. That's not what we do.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my goodness gracious almighty me. I'm worried that they won't get the necessary reps. Maybe it won't matter. I don't know. Listen, we talked about this a little bit all week. You know, you're 18 weeks into the season. If your corners are needing reps to get ready, in terms of executing the game plan you need to put in place, you got bigger problems on your hand.
Well, especially because the only ones that are rookies, right, are Ombre Thomas and De'Amon Lenore.
Accurate.
Emmanuel Mosley, Josh Norman, Dante Johnson, K1 Williams. All these guys are not only very familiar with the NFL, but with the 49ers system. So, you really just don't have to worry. But they can be put in there right away at lock and load.
It's true. Did you hear Mostert's son has a fever of 103? Yeah. Saw that on the story
that's
today.
Unfortunate.
It
It's
really
too
is.
bad, yeah.
Needs to get better, get well.
Yeah, they said he is back home, so that's
great
good news. Yeah,
That's
he's
great
back
news.
home, so
Because they would not release him and let him go home if
they were worried about it. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So that's really good news. I'm glad to hear that. After watching the film, what did you guys think of Lance's game against the Texans? So NFL Game Pass's All-22 film is not up yet. It's been 72 hours, and they still haven't posted. Now, I've gone back and watched the regular broadcast, and my feelings are still the same based on the regular broadcast. And I've seen All-22 clips being posted by other people who have, the early access or the overseas version of the All-22 film. And, the stuff that they're posting is mostly good stuff. They don't post typically bad stuff. So the good stuff that they've been posting looks solid. I'm really looking forward to the NFL getting Game Pass figured out, because the last few weeks it's been spotty at best in terms of their coverage. One of the games that I tried to go back and watch of Rams Vikings from 2 weeks ago. It's been 2 weeks. The entire game film isn't even up yet.
Yeah.
So NFL Game Pass, you need to pick it up because this is atrocious.
Yeah, it is. I have watched a lot of the All-22. I've picked it up from different people watching plays and listened to their breakdowns. And the one thing that I saw was that Trey missed some open receivers in the first half. There were guys that were open. Some of them weren't his first read, and he just never made it to them, and that's okay. So I think that there are times to be critical of him and times not. I thought he played way better than he played in Arizona in the second half. So I'm at least optimistic about his improvement. But that's why I haven't been completely swayed. This wasn't one of those Colin Kaepernick situations where he went out and took the job. This is one of those ones where that's why Jimmy's still in the conversation as the best opportunity, to win guys. So I think right now Trey's improving, but he's not there yet.
Accurate. Accurate. Tommy with a $2 super chat. Good point. Alex, Trey offs or thumb offs? Oh, goodness. Probably thumb offs. I'm assuming thumb offs, because the thumb off is throwing in practice pretty well.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's looking like him. Siggy Slight here, Ant. Can Lance survive with the Lambs pass rush with the hitch in his delivery? Jimmy G has survived with his quick release.
That is spot on, Siggy, because that's one of the keys to why the 49ers have had success against the Rams, is they've been able to get rid of the ball quick, get it into the playmakers' hands, and let them create. Where Trey Lance does like you hold on to the football a little bit longer, he would have to extend the pocket. So it would be all about, could he get to the outside? Could Kyle Shanahan scheme it up to move the pocket consistently, get him outside where he could then look down the field? Because there would be opportunities down the field against this Rams defense, because besides Jalen Ramsey, there are holes for the secondary of the Rams, so they could take advantage of it.
Accurate.
But Jimmy can live in the pocket, and that's one of the things Kyle likes to do, is he likes to create a pocket. But it's all predicated on the run game. If the 49ers don't get the run game going, this is going to be a long day for no matter what quarterback it is.
Very accurate. And Tommy Huxley, Ant, with the hot-blooded, check it and see. He's got a fever of 103, Ant. He's got a fever of 103. It's a solid song. And JT O'Sullivan did a deep dive on Lance. I saw that. Aaliyah, who else is on these lives? Just us in the Cutback crew.
Yeah.
Us in the Cutback crew, yo. Matthew Rowley, is it me or does Lance have the same release / wind-up as Cap? No.
It is a little bit different, because Cap's was more of a 3/4 release, where you have, Trey Lance is a little bit more elongated, where he starts down and then comes around on a windup. I think the similarities between the two of them are, height. Trey Lance and Colin Kaepernick, height, size, speed are very equivalent. I think what you have a difference is Cap was more elusive, where Trey Lance is more physical. I think those are kind of the things that are the same. The one thing I will say is I believe Trey Lance is already starting to read the field better than Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick was a 1-2, read the side of the field and then go. Some of that was what they asked of him, and then some of that is what his capabilities were. Mm-hmm. I think where Trey Lance, he's going to be able to read the entire field, and he's going to be able to operate Kyle Shanahan's offense, and that's the difference between Trey Lance and Colin Kaepernick is what is between the ears football-wise.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Cap was always a guy who relied heavily on his athleticism. Trey Lance has not been a guy who's relied on his athleticism. It's been physicality. It's been his brain, his intelligence, knowing where he's supposed to be, checking in and out of stuff. That's what he did a lot of at the college level, and he's getting himself there. I mean, he was checking in and out of plays in that Texans game, which was great to see. I was worried about how much of that we'd see, how much canning, killing we'd see from Trey Lance, and we saw enough. And when he can and killed things and got into different plays or different formations or canned into the right play, it usually was successful. So that's great news. That's really good news because we saw last year a certain Nick Mullins canning and killing and maybe not necessarily Oscaring, but doing other things with plays and it resulted in really bad stuff for the 49ers. So the fact that Lance is already making calls at the line and those plays are going for big plays, that's half the battle in Shanahan's system, is when he gives you those opportunities to keep them in the right play or get them into something better, that you make the right call.
Yeah, and I think you've seen that, with Jim Harbaugh, they had to completely fundamentally change the offense to suit what Colin Kaepernick's strengths were. He could not operate the Alex Smith style of offense that Jim Harbaugh, traditional offense, where Trey Lance can operate Kyle Shanahan's traditional offense and then still have extra things that he can do on top of that. So I think that there's a difference. I see Jay Ellie says Lance over Cap, and I 100% agree, which means Kaepernick took the 49ers to a Super Bowl. That means, that is a realistic, situation where that Trey Lance can bring the 49ers to a Super Bowl at some point. But there needs to be development. We all know Colin Kaepernick did not, play for the 49ers right away. He had over a year to develop.
Accurate.
In fact, I was there when they started kind of putting him in against the New York Giants and letting him throw some of the deep passes. And, it was electric. But until he got his full opportunity, it was a long ways. He had learned a lot of football, and he sat there and watched Alex Smith do it at a high level. And that's why he was able to go out there and I'll give it some respect to Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman for coming up with a scheme and a game plan that would work for Colin Kaepernick in the NFL.
Absolutely. It ended up working itself out in a very big way there. Tommy, why am I so nervous about this game? It's because of the up and down season for the 49ers. Some of the injuries have not afforded the Niners the luxury of being able to make mistakes and being able to have all of the talent in the world on both ends to overcome them. And so they need to play clean football and complementary football. And when they've done that, they've won. And when they haven't done that, they haven't. And so, it's been one of those years where the Niners haven't blown teams out and really separated themselves from everybody. But they do control games. They do control games really well. So as long as they don't make mistakes, they'll be fine. But I understand the nervousness, Tom. It's completely normal at this point to be nervous with how this team has played football the way that they have this year.
Nerves are normal. I mean, even when you're going to win a football game, as a coach, I had nerves, a lot of times. And they would hit you before the game. Some of it's the excitement of, and we know this is building. And the closer we get to the game, there's going to be more of a hype. This is no different than the playoffs, where you can feel the pressure all day from the time you wake up. There's an excitement with an underlying pressure of, man, if we don't win, this season's over. So that's part of the allure of football. It's part of the excitement. Matthew Rowley said, sorry, I wasn't asking about them as quarterbacks, but both Cap and Lance seemed to pause at the top of their windup for a split second. But it may be my imagination. Lance will be better than Cap, in my opinion.
I think he already is. And I don't know. I don't see a pause from Trey Lance at the top. What I see is that windup and then the coming through and the finish. I've never noticed that in that regard. And oh my goodness. Well, you are going into timeout, sir. Don't spam. Don't spam, please. Please don't spam.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But look, I don't see that out of this guy. I don't see that out of Kaepernick. This is not, out of Trey Lance. I don't see that being something that has occurred. And in all honesty, Ant, I'm really not too worried about Trey Lance with his development. I think my big thing was the unknown coming into this last game with Trey Lance. And it was going to be, is Trey Lance, does he have full grasp of the offense? Can he audible in and out of things? Can he check in and out of things? And then can he operate over the middle of the field? And he did all of those things. We saw him operate this offense at a pretty good level. I know that he started off slow, And, that was one of the big concerns going into halftime. But he finished in a big way, in a huge way for this team. He led a couple of big drives down the field to get points on the board. T.O., that was just nonsense, essentially, being put up on the screen. So who knows? I mean, people do weird stuff. Bots do weird things on YouTube. That's for sure. But look, I'm excited about Trey Lance's development. I don't see that pause at the top. Do you?
No, I think what it does is I think it's the way it looks like it's exploding out of their hands. Where with Jimmy and some of the every one of these quarterbacks has a little bit of a unique way of throwing. If you go back and look at Joe Montana, his motion's a little bit different than Steve Young. Steve Young used to follow through and hold it. Trey Lance does the same sort of thing where he follows through here and doesn't take his thumb all the way to his pocket. Though there's little things like that where I believe Kaepernick did some of the same things as well. He didn't follow all the way through. So that there's a little bit of differences there. But no, I don't think they're actually pausing. I think that's kind of the way it looks, though. So I understand what Matthew's talking about. I don't think there is an actual pause, but it can appear that way sometimes from different angles and when you're seeing them throw. The other thing was, did you see what they were talking about, about the Super Bowl, what we have won with Alex Smith as the quarterback?
I saw T.O. ask.
Yeah.
When I was around that time, that age, because of how big of an Alex Smith fan I was, the answer to that question, if you had asked me then, was 100% yes, of course, we would have won with Alex Smith. Because I was I guess you wouldn't call it an Alex Smith stan, I guess is what we can call it at the time. It's hard to say. It really, truly is. Do I think Alex Smith gives us as good of, if not maybe a better chance? Yes, I think he gives you as good of, if not a better chance, just the way he was playing that year and operating the offense. But Cap was playing at such a level at that time that it just made sense. And the Niners did come back in that Super Bowl. They were down big. They did come back in a big way. I don't know if there's a true answer to that question, but I think the Niners would have had very similar success either way with either quarterback. It just would have been different in terms of how they executed it.
I think the bigger question is, would they have beat Atlanta the week before? Because Colin Kaepernick is one of the big reasons they were able to beat the Atlanta Falcons, because the Falcons' offense was on fire.
It was.
And the 49ers' defense in 2012 fell off in those playoffs.
It did.
Atlanta and in the Super Bowl, they gave up way too many points. You can put a lot of that on that defense. That defense should have played a lot better, and they didn't, and that's part of the reason those games were close. But I think it's it all just depends on what style of offense you wanted to run. But Colin Kaepernick's offense was a certain way. They were putting up points against Green Bay. They put up points against Atlanta. They put up points against that vaunted Ravens defense. So he would have done enough. I think this is one of those things where either guy had the potential to win that Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get it done. And that's really just the biggest part of it.
That really, truly is, Ant. It really, truly is. Tommy said, do you guys hear Debo talking more trash? Yesterday he said he has the Rams number. He said today he doesn't want to meet Aaron Donald. Listen, if I was Debo Samuel, I wouldn't want to meet Aaron Donald either. Number one, he's been nothing but disrespectful to you as a player. Doesn't matter how many good games you have. He wants to disrespect you for whatever reason it is. I don't know what happened between Aaron Donald and Debo Samuel, but something happened at some point, Ant. Maybe it was in the offseason.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, Debo like Debo said, I don't know him. He's a part of another team. I don't care. I think that is that's kind of the method. That's how it used to be. Everyone didn't used to be friends. It wasn't like, oh, I like this guy from that time. No, you hated them. You didn't care about them. You wanted to beat them. Before free agency and before all the different, combines and 7-on-7s and college football that used to, go be with all these guys all the time, before Elite 11 and stuff, you just didn't like these guys.
Whoa, Brad. We know who Aaron Donald is. We know who Aaron. We're not like Aaron Donald and pretend like we don't know who one of the best players on the other team. I kind of
like that.
We don't do that. We also don't have to do that because Daddy Brunskill takes care of business when he plays Aaron Donald, so it's totally fine.
What is up, El Boris? By the way, Boris jumping in.
Brad had a good question earlier too, Ant. He said Brad S asked, "Do you think that Kyle hit his groove toward the end of the game, and will it carry into this game?"
I think Kyle was actually calling a good game throughout the game. If you look at the first half, he had an open Deebo Samuel. There was an open Kyle Juszczyk when Trey Lance got sacked. There were opportunities.
And he missed Deebo on that huge wide open on that little double move.
Yeah, so there were opportunities where he could have gotten the ball. I think what happened was Trey settled in. I do think at halftime they probably gave him more detailed breakdowns and made the reads a little bit easier for him. I think they went to more of a half read system and they changed the game up a little bit. But then that's when Trey got into a groove. And whenever your quarterback gets into a groove, it's easier for an offensive coordinator because rhythm is a real thing. And once these guys start chunking out yards and making completions, then the offense can take the rhythm on that it needed to take on. But I don't believe it was a Kyle Shanahan thing. I think it was a Trey Lance early as he's getting out the jitters, and then overall getting the run game established.
I agree with you on that, Ant. That's kind of how I felt too watching it. I didn't understand a lot of the frustration some 49ers fans had with Kyle Shanahan. People were talking about, called a much better second half. I was like, it felt like the same.
It's real simple, Alex. I used to get video games every year for Christmas. And when I first started playing those video games, I hated them because I wasn't very good at it. And I used to struggle. And then I hated this game.
Did you keep playing?
Yeah, I kept playing. And then once I got good at it, you know what I did? I loved the game. Okay. So that's what happened.
Makes sense.
They got a new toy. It wasn't working out well. But once it started working out, they loved it.
That was good. Okay. Yeah. Ivan, this is a great question as well. Which dream free agent would you guys both choose?
This is real simple for me. Aaron Rodgers.
Not even close.
And he's not even a free agent.
No.
I guess he's not a free agent, so I don't know. Can we actually say Aaron Rodgers?
I'm just gonna say Aaron Rodgers because he's not going to be in Green Bay next year.
Yeah,
he's not.
I think if he's a free agent, that it would be Aaron Rodgers because I think you could take this quarterback position to just an entirely other level. I know Trey Lance could be something in the future, but I know what Aaron Rodgers is, so I'm always going to choose the proven commodity over the possibility of. But if it's not Aaron Rodgers, then let's put some talent around Trey Lance and let's build around him because I do think 3-4 years from now he's going to be mentioned in those elite names with some of those great quarterbacks. It's just Aaron Rodgers is an MVP guy right now.
Very, very true. I want to get to Jag's $5 super chat, and he said, first, I want to wish you and your family a great new year. You as well, Jag. Why aren't we using Sermon, Wilson, and Hasty to spell Mitchell?
They're not as good. It's that simple. When you don't have Elijah Mitchell on the field, you're losing something.
It's pretty noticeable.
It's stark. JaMychal Hasty is not the inside runner. He doesn't have the dynamic one cut ability. He's more of a he's not a slash guy.
He's a pass catching threat. That's what he is.
Jeff Wilson Jr. is missing a step right now, coming back from the injury, and Trey Sermon just doesn't have the vision yet. Trey Sermon has not developed into the one cut and go guy. He wants to sit around and be patient, and that's not what they need to do right now. So I think that they need more development, and that's also why I believe Raheem Mostert is a possibility to come back now, because they don't have the faith in them. And I do like what Brad S said. They suck. Thanks, Brad.
That was the not nice way to say it, but
I don't think they suck, but I do think there's reasons why.
He clarified right now.
Right now. Perfectly said.
Brad, wonderful, my
wonderful
guy.
Man.
Wonderful, my guy. They got Jerome Bogert in that Super Bowl, and Bogert's crew has this game, right? I think
that is 100% accurate. Yes.
Oh boy, well, that's just wonderful. I don't like hearing that, but hey, it is what it is. In the end, who will be the quarterback in the Rams, Jimmy or Trey? Says El Boris. It's looking like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything's trending towards Jimmy Garoppolo. 2 straight days of practice. Last week Jimmy didn't practice, so the fact that he's practicing. And he talked about he worked out actually on Tuesday and then had a great session and then came back Wednesday and he said it hurt really bad and it was stiff. The fact he came back out on Thursday, I think just goes to show he's able to play with this thing. So I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the quarterback for this game. They know it's a must win, but Trey Lance will be standing close by just in case.
Ralph, actually, that was earlier today. His son has actually been released from the hospital, so everything is actually A-okay with Mostert's son at the moment.
Yeah. So that's a good sign.
That is a good sign.
It's unfortunate. 103 fever is no joke.
No,
especially with a kid. This is bad. I mean,
I could go into the long, detailed scientific explanation as to what an 103-degree fever does to your body, but we all know it just isn't a good thing.
Well, as someone that's had an 103 fever, I understand.
That's accurate. You don't need no scientific explanations.
No.
You don't need college boys' help.
Apparently, hallucinations are normal.
That is accurate. That's very accurate. Well, hold on a second now, Caleb. Sermon has Trent Richardson vision. That's a bit much. I haven't seen that yet.
I famously have a meme that has Trent Richardson on it and Jared Hayne. Where Trent Richardson's been playing football his whole life, can't find the hole. Jared Hayne, first play, finds the hole.
It's true.
Yeah. No, I don't think his vision's not that bad. But the problem with him is still the one cut and go. He doesn't want to get his foot in the ground and get vertical. He wants to move laterally. He wants to push to the line of scrimmage and jump cut. That's something else JaMychal Hasty's having to work through. The different style of running. Elijah Mitchell, Raheem Mostert, they're one cut and go guys. So I think it's just a different mentality. Jeff Wilson's a one cut and go guy.
True.
He's just dealing with the meniscus, and it's not 100% right now, and you can tell he's a step slow.
Just a step. Just a step. This is actually a solid question from T.O. Is Sermon in San Francisco next season?
I think he has to be. I mean, you're not going to give up on a third-round pick, or was it second or third-round pick?
Technically,
third-round pick.
third. The only reason you're giving up on a third-round pick is if someone's giving you a third-round pick for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I don't see that.
It depends on if you're not high on him. If you're not high on him at all, you might take a fourth or a fifth, especially with how good you do with fifth-round picks. But I think he's going to be in San Francisco next year.
I'm not sold yet. I'm not sold yet. I think with what we've seen from Sermon in terms of his usage and where he is with his development, I think Kyle's frustrated. I think he's been frustrated with the situation. So I think he's going to have through OTAs, and I think if OTAs doesn't show Kyle something, we could see him out. I don't know if they're going to do it, but I think in order for it to make sense, someone would have to give him a third, unless Ant, like we kind of joke about all the time with this, someone gives him a fifth, they may be going, hey, we can do something with that fifth.
Yeah.
We can do something with that fifth.
No,
we usually hit in the fifth.
Yeah, exactly. I think really, too, it comes down to what this running back room looks like. If they bring Raheem Mostert back, makes it harder for Trey Sermon to make the team. If they bring Jeff Wilson Jr. back, it makes it harder for Trey Sermon to make the team. JaMychal Hasty, it could come back down to Trey Sermon and JaMychal Hasty next year. We'll see. We'll see what they do, and we'll see who they draft. There's no guarantees they're not going to go out there and draft. There's no guarantees they're not going to sign someone that becomes a free agent.
Accurate.
Because who was the guy that was with the Broncos, went to the Texans, and then got released?
Phillip Lindsay.
Phillip Lindsay should be a free agent as well. So if
that's a guy who could really work really well in Shanahan's system.
Oh, big time. So I mean, maybe you go out there and you pick up a Phillip Lindsay.
If he's healthy too, he's going to be cheap.
Yeah, he'll be cheap. I mean, he got cut from a football team, but he would fit Kyle Shanahan's system, and you put him, him with Raheem and Elijah Mitchell.
Cordero Patterson will also be a free agent next year.
Cordero Patterson will be in 49ers talks, 100%.
Yeah,
Kyle Shanahan would love to get his hands on him.
They would absolutely love it, Ant.
Yeah.
Listen, Ivan Gonzalez, which opponent is must-win next season for the 49ers? He's saying for him it's the Raiders. The Raiders, Ant. The Raiders is his must-win.
The Raiders is a must-win?
That's what he's saying.
There are must-win football games for me every year. They're usually division games.
Typically.
You need to win division games. I can't stand the Rams. I can't stand the Seahawks. Raiders will be a big one because, I have a lot of Raider friends, and they will never, let me hear the end of it. Even though, they haven't even won a Super Bowl since 1983, they still just go crazy on it. So
it's true. It's very, very true. Sermon is a young Cordero, just not as fast. I haven't seen it yet. We'll see it.
Is he saying Cordero? Like he's a young Cordero Patterson?
I think so.
Because he does not have receiving skills or return skills like Cordero Patterson.
He doesn't have hands.
The positionless player aspect is what makes him look good in Kyle Shanahan's offense, not the running back situation.
Correct.
But now you would have somebody that could do Debo-like things. That was what the Jalen Hurd role was supposed to be. You wanted to have multiple guys that could do that.
Oh, Jalen.
So you that's why Cordero Patterson will be somebody they're looking at. But there's all kinds of guys in the draft. I mean, that are going to be in the draft. They're going to be able to do that.
It's true. Can Cordero Patterson sign with the 49ers and wear 14?
Hopefully. I mean, he wears 84 right now.
Just drop the 8, put a 1 on it.
That would be great. Then I would have a Cordero Patterson jersey. I love that for me. Thank you. I appreciate your optimism. If Aaron Rodgers could just show up and wear 14.
True.
Of course, that number,
True. Tommy, should we consider the Seahawks a loss, or can we beat them finally? If Russell Wilson is not in Seattle, and I'm calling it now. If Russell Wilson's not in Seattle next year, it's 2 wins for the 49ers.
Yeah, I think so. I think that if Russ is not there, they're going through a rebuild, minus them reloading with another veteran quarterback. But who would they get? I don't know. I think they're going to go young. But who's in the draft that's going to change that offense fundamentally?
Good old Slovis.
I think it's going to frustrate. I think it'll frustrate DK a lot and Tyler Lockett if Russell Wilson's not there.
I could see Lockett forcing his way out.
Yeah,
being like, "Hey,
you don't think DK would be loud about leaving if Russ isn't there?"
No, I mean, if
he's in his first contract,
I'm aware, but he's the guy now.
I know, but he's going into his last season of his first contract.
It's true.
If you're ever gonna trade a guy, this is when you trade him. He has his most value
because it's true.
Because doesn't have very much money left on his deal. He's a second-round pick, so he's only a 4-year contract. So there's 1 year left. Somebody could trade for him and then sign him to a big deal.
Very true. And Shooter, listen, if it breaks your heart every time we say Jalen Hurd, imagine how we feel.
Imagine how I feel.
Imagine how Ant feels. I mean, listen, it's bad for me because once I saw the film and watched him, it was like, oh my God, like look what Kyle Shanahan could do. But Ant was the one who was all on it first before anyone else. So I mean, it's hard for Ant. It's the hardest for Ant. It's hard for me. I know it's very, very difficult for the Cutback crew.
And Frank as well. Frank is living through it with us. Yeah.
Frank, we love you, man. Do you think Kittle will be traded for picks?
Nope.
Held to the Nizza?
No,
never.
Kittle's not going anywhere. His mentality, the things he does on the offense are pivotal to Kyle Shanahan's offense. Nobody can do what George Kittle can do. Absolutely nobody. There's not a single tight end, a single offensive lineman / receiver that can do the things that he does. So no, him and Kyle Juszczyk are so important to this offense, along with Deebo Samuel. You just cannot duplicate the type of things that you get out of those three guys.
Very, very accurate, and very accurate. Candy R saying Rush traded to Giants for Mike Glennon. Apparently, Pete Carroll wants a quarterback with a lot of neck.
Yeah,
a lot of neck, Ant.
Yeah. Glennon.
No one's trading for Glennon.
No, I mean Russell Wilson to the New York Giants would make sense.
It would make sense.
However, I don't see them doing it. They like big people.
Did you see the report, by the way, that apparently someone is suing the New York Giants and the New York Jets for use of the name New York?
No, I hadn't seen that.
I saw that come through somewhere. I don't know. I didn't read enough about it, but I saw that and was like, what's that about?
Yeah, I didn't know you couldn't use location.
If that's the case, everybody's in trouble.
I mean, yeah. Are the San Francisco 49ers going to get...
You looking forward to the Washington Redskins name reveal?
Yeah, not if I heard what it's right. I mean, what they're saying Boomer Esiason said it's going to be the Admirals.
Jesus Christ.
The Washington Admirals. I mean, it's so close to the Generals, it's almost funny. I mean, come on. The Washington Admirals. I actually like football team better than that.
The football team, I mean, listen, if they weren't going to be the Redskins, if they weren't going to be that, I was good with the football team.
Why didn't they just go Skins?
Washington Skins?
Yeah, why aren't they just the Skins? And literally, the Skins. I mean...
and then it could be just literally a picture of a pigskin?
Well, how smart was the guy that knew this was coming and went out and just got all the names?
They had to pay for a lot of those.
Yeah, he pays for them to get trademarked.
Well, I know, but they had to... The Reskins had to, go into negotiations with him to get access to some of those.
Yeah, that's why he's so smart.
Yeah, he was. He was genius.
Yeah.
Absolutely genius.
The names are getting terrible. The Cleveland Guardians, another terrible name. You got to come up. Who comes up with this stuff?
Well, I understand. I remember giving people crap about this, and then the Cleveland, Ohio people who are Indians fans were like, well, you don't understand the gates, the big bridge coming in, the two towers are called the Guard. No, listen, I get it. I get it. I get it. You're naming your team after a bridge. I get it. I get what the name's supposed to represent, but it's a bridge, folks. It's
also just it sounds garbage.
It's a bridge. I mean, give me another team that's named after we're not the San Francisco Golden Gators.
Yeah, that'd be weird. We could be the Santa Clara Great Americas right now at that point. Yeah.
You just don't do that. You don't.
Ooh, Tommy says anything is better than the football team. Agree to disagree.
I don't know about that. I kind of like the football team.
The football team kind of grew on me after a while. It's still, to me, better than Admirals.
The reason why people don't like it is because you don't look at the Washington football team and think a really good football team. You think terrible football team.
Yeah.
But listen, if that was the Green Bay football team, no one would care.
I don't really like the way the Green Bay
Washington football team just
it worked too because it was it was WFT. It was really close.
Really close WTF.
Yeah,
it was really super close.
And that's what you thought most of the time when you were watching them play. True. Yeah, but no, I some of the name things I know. Redskin fans absolutely hate the name change to football team, and they're really gonna hate if it's
the Admirals.
Admirals. They were wanting like Red Tails or Red Hawks or something like that. They were really pushing for those kind of names.
Not going to happen. They're going to just remove the red entirely at all whatsoever. Ivan, I don't know if you guys heard, but I've been hearing Devontae Adams to the 49ers. We'll see. That'll all come down to Aaron Rodgers.
Well, we talked about it earlier, and I think Brad Jones said he could be a franchise tag. So Agreed. That would definitely put the big kibosh on that.
Very, very well could. Very well could. I think we play Chiefs, Saints, and Buccaneers at home next year. That is correct. I have to agree with Tommy. I cringe when I hear WFT from David Campbell.
Yeah. And Brad Jones says, why would you not just go to the Washington Sentinels?
Oh, bro. I would imagine that's probably trademarked.
Yeah.
That Washington Sentinels name is probably trademarked.
Yeah.
It has to be, right, from that movie. It has to be.
You would think so, but
Dude, just go get it.
Hey,
Go talk to
I know. I guarantee the movie would let them do it because it'd make the movie relevant again.
Well, they could. Here's the thing, right? They could probably sell them the name and keep some royalties, where they keep like 5% of earnings. I mean, you're that you keep the same color scheme and everything.
Well, things actually run out. Actually, after a while, you have to keep renewing the trademark.
Sure.
So I bet you that's not even trademarked at this point.
Dude, if it's not trademarked, that's a gold mine. If you're the Washington football team, that's a gold mine because anyone who's seen the replacements will buy Washington Sentinels gear just for the memes.
Yeah.
You could literally sell Footstep Falco jerseys at games and people will buy them just for giggles.
Yeah. Tommy's saying his name is Robert Paulson.
Who's he referring to?
I think he's referring to the guy that bought all the names.
Oh, Robert Paulson is his name. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Tommy, the fact that you just know that.
Yeah, well done. He knows what's up with Bob.
Good job there. Way to go, Tommy. Way to stay up to date with Bob.
Yeah.
Way to go. All right, Cutback crew. Few more questions. We got a game plan video that we still got to get prepped for. We got what's good with Jay in the Bay coming up that we got to do. You got a Friday Frenzy to look forward to. I know Zach Francisco said that earlier. One of his favorite things always is the Friday Frenzy, and we agree. It is always a lot of fun.
Yeah, I knew Gary was going to come with it.
WTF, not WFT, Ant.
Yeah.
I agree with him. What the fricks?
I don't know what it's going to end up being, but we're going to have to get used to whatever it is. And since they're on the schedule next year, yeah, that's who we're going to be playing. I have some Washington fans.
It's from Fright Club.
Oh.
What?
Wow, completely caught off guard by that. Actually,
no.
Tommy, I've only seen like parts of Fight Club. I've never seen the whole thing. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Sorry.
Does Jess know this? I'm assuming Jess has not seen Fight Club.
There's no way.
All right, you two definitely need to watch Fight Club.
Do you think that's something that she's gonna want to watch?
No. No.
And I can't say that I really want to watch it either.
But it's so good. And there's such a twist.
The only thing I know about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club.
And the first rule of Fight Club.
And I'm guessing if it's a twist, it was all in somebody's mind. Yeah. There you go.
Oh man, not really much of a twist, is it?
No, it's not.
Yes, and Dan Snyder too is cheap to buy. It's
there
true.
You go.
Alex, are you ready for Troy Opke?
You were gonna DX voice,
bro. In the DX voice, you are going to get absolutely ran if you pull out that stupid package, Caleb. Promise you.
Yeah.
Promise you. And Jess, that's a no for me. Okay, well.
Oh, well done. Yeah.
At least we know, or at least I know.
Well, that's two.
And already knew.
That's 2 votes for no. So.
And Tommy has it on DVD, so you know what, Ant, you can just borrow it. Tommy, just ship it over this way, and then Ant will have no choice.
I mean, how much of a purchase is this at this point for a DVD? I could probably get that for like $3.99 on Walmart.com.
Good chance.
I mean, well, they moved to Blu-ray, so I mean that's a little bit more expensive. I think Blu-rays are up to like the older.
And just buy that DVD Blu-ray combo, Ant, and you'll be fine.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Well, I do have a PS4 still, so I can watch Blu-rays.
Hey, that is true. Yeah. Android user here, what do you make of Shanahan's coaching style? Very demanding on players, as opposed to Harbaugh's always good job, attaboy. I can still motivate his players this way. See, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I mean, just because that's the persona that Harbaugh gives off, you don't know what the persona is in the locker room and in terms of like expectations for the execution. Oh,
no, he expects you to do that, but he does it in a positive manner.
Very true.
That is the way that he handles a football team, and Kyle Shanahan handles it with a little bit of a different manner, but that's no different than Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh liked a little bit of controlled chaos. He used to, in fact, cause it to happen by starting little disagreements with assistant coaches to get his players to play better. They would feel like they're letting their assistant coaches down, and that would create a little bit of, that controlled chaos, and they would be able to stimulate that. He really worked well in those situations. So I think each head coach has a different manner and way to handle it. No, there's no right or wrong way, as long as it works for the personnel and the people that you have in the room. I mean, usually you surround people that are going to, be able to respond to it well. So if you have to recognize who you got, and then you go out and operate. But Kyle Shanahan was able to build this roster from the ground up because it was a terrible roster.
True.
Where Jim Harbaugh came into an already established roster. So coming in with that positive mindset after they had just been coming through all the darkness that was 49ers before that, and the Mike Singletary up-in-your-face attitude, it was a welcome sight. Usually when you see a change in coaching philosophy, it goes from one extreme to the other. So Kyle Shanahan built this around what he likes to do and how his coaching points work.
Agreed, Ant.
Yeah.
That is a very accurate statement there. And yeah, it all comes down to coaching style and it working with players. It worked with Brandon Ayuk, obviously. We've seen him get on Jimmy Garoppolo and Jimmy answer in a big way. We've seen this team respond to this coaching style mentality. And when you lost 4 straight and all hope seemed lost, this team found a way to climb themselves back into this and put themselves in a position now where they win and they are in the playoffs. And then we wait to see what happens. So we'll see. Ivan here, I really hope we win this Sunday. This game is going to make me nervous, but I won't see it because I'm going to be in the Marines.
Wow. Well, good luck with that. Thank you for your service and joining up. We have a lot of praise and accolades for you, so well done. And, we're going to be rooting our butts off for the 49ers, and hopefully they get a win for you as well, Ivan. I know it's a little nerve-wracking, but the Niners can get this done.
Absolutely can, Anthony. Absolutely can. And you know what? We can't leave the show without my dog's best friend chiming in with one little last breath of positivity. And look at Jimmy, man. So inspirational. Also, Star Trek. Bork, bork, nom, nom, my dog's best friend. Great job, man. Great job coming in at the last minute there with a...
Well done.
Inspirational.
That's very funny comments. I think that there are people that feel that way.
Absolutely.
I mean? And that's okay. Like I said, it's okay to feel that way. I think that they're kind of split on the way that things are going to go. The only thing I care about is no matter what quarterback is out there on Sunday, let's all get behind him because we definitely need to come away with the victory as we get into the playoffs. That's the most important thing. Let next year worry about next year. You're not going to develop Trey enough in week 18 for it to make a difference. Go out there. It's about winning football games. It's about having an opportunity to get into the playoffs and maybe make something happen when you get there. So get this win. Playoffs start a week early for the 49ers. You can't count on the Saints to lose, but it's going to be an exciting weekend.
Agreed. We'll work on the Camo Niners hat. Cutback crew, cannot thank you enough for your support, all of you, for tuning in, commenting, leaving tons of great questions, and lots of fun. Good jokes today as well. The Cutback crew and chat, Ant, killed it like they always do.
Always.
We really appreciate it. We'll catch you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. The Friday Frenzy begins, and we got a very fun Madden simulation. We'll catch you over there for that. And until that time, Cutback crew and the faithful, stay safe.
I remember the right way
is always the 49ers way.